Human vision uses context to make prediction. For example, in this office, we are quite sure that there is a chair behind the mask, but not a toilet. In the past decades, many fancy context models have been proposed, but they do not work as well as expected. One of the main reasons is that when the field of view is small, context is weak, because only a small number of objects are visible and there is little interaction amongst objects. We propose PanoContext, a whole room context model to recognize objects in a panoramic image. Our model takes a single panorama as input and outputs a 3D scene in which the room layout and all the objects are recognized as 3D boxes. We compare our method with DPM on the object detection task. For most of the categories, we can reach better or comparable performance with DPM using only 3D context information without any image feature for object categorization. Also, the detection performance drops when the field of view is getting smaller, which proves that a large field of view provides stronger context. Next, we will introduce some algorithm details. In general, the whole algorithm is done in two major steps. Step 1. Generating a set of hypotheses of room layout and indoor objects, and composing them to many whole room hypotheses. And step 2. Searching for the best whole room hypothesis as the output. Let's talk about step 1 first, hypothesis generation. In step 1, the goal is to first generate a huge but manageable number of cuboids as the hypotheses for the room layout and major objects, and then combine them to many whole room hypotheses. We will first talk about how to generate room layout hypotheses. Under the Manhattan world assumption, we first extract the line segments from Panorama and use the Hopf transform to get 3 orthogonal vanishing points. Then, we estimate the surface normal direction of each pixel in the panorama by running previous algorithm, orientation map, and geometric context. In practice, we discover that the orientation map is more accurate than geometric context in the upper half, while the geometric context works better in the lower half. So we merge these two as our final surface normal estimation. Now, we use all these information to generate room layout hypotheses. Geometrically, sampling 5 line segments will give us a room layout. We get thousands of room layout hypotheses by randomly sampling line segments. Each hypothesis can give us a corresponding surface normal estimation, and we compare it with the one we got by merging orientation map and geometric context. We keep those room layout hypotheses with high consistency score and delete the bad ones. So now, we have a set of room layout hypotheses with considerable consistency with image evidence. Then, we will talk about how to generate cuboid hypotheses for objects in the room. We first do color image segmentation on Panorama. Assuming all cuboids are aligned with vanishing directions, we fit cuboids for each segment. On the other hand, we project Panorama to each vanishing point and run a part-based rectangle detector on each projection. The detected rectangles will also suggest some cuboids, taking them as one of the surfaces. We collect all the cuboids from these two sources as the object hypothesis pool. With the help of room layout, we can project 2D cuboid projections to 3D space. Now, we have a room layout hypothesis pool and an object hypothesis pool. The next step is to combine them into whole room hypotheses. Because the size of the pool is very huge, we use a data-driven method to efficiently sample and search for good rooms. Before sampling, we need to know the possible semantic categories for each cuboid hypothesis in a room. To do so, we use 3D information of the cuboids, like size, aspect ratio, and distance to walls, to train a random forest for semantic classification. The classifier assigns each cuboid a likelihood probability distribution over all semantic classes. Here are some cuboids with high probability as some semantic classes: nightstand, door, painting, TV, bed, and sofa. After assigning cuboids with possible semantic classes, we now introduce how to do the data-driven sampling. First, we randomly choose a room layout hypothesis. Then, according to training data, we randomly decide the number of instances for each category and their sampling sequence. We will sample all the objects in this room following this sequence. In this example, we sample a bed first. We combine all bottom-up information, like rectangle detection score, intersection with segmentation, and semantic classification score, to measure the confidence of each cuboid hypothesis as a bed, and randomly choose one based on the confidence. Then, we move on to the second object on the sampling sequence, a nightstand. We measure the bottom-up confidence in the same way as we did for the bed. Notice that we already sampled the bed, so we would prefer nightstands in a consistent position with the bed, like right on the side of the head. We measure this as a pairwise context in a non-parametric way, and merge it with bottom-up confidence. Finally, we randomly sample one nightstand according to the merged score. We do the same thing to the third objects on the list, sampling a painting on the wall. Bottom-up confidence, pairwise context, merged score, and randomly select one. We keep on doing this for all the other objects in the sampling list to generate a whole room hypothesis. Desk, window, painting, TV, sofa, and mirror. Guided by bottom-up and top-down information, we can efficiently sample a large but manageable number of whole room hypotheses, and the quality of these rooms is significantly better than random sampling. Now, we have finished step 1, in which we generate many whole room hypotheses. In step 2, we will introduce how to find a good room from all the hypotheses as the output of our system. In order to search for the best room, we compute holistic features for each whole room hypothesis, and train a linear SVM to rank them. We take the one with the highest SVM score as our output. The design of the holistic feature is very essential in our system. It consists of bottom-up feature and top-down feature. For the bottom-up feature, we collect surface normal estimation from region covered by objects of each category and concatenate them as the feature vector. So it encodes local information from each semantic category. On the other hand, the top-down feature is used to judge whether a room structure is valid. To do so, for each whole room hypothesis, we compare it with ground truth rooms in our training set. We allow some conservative transformation on the ground truth room, like resizing each dimension, scaling or rotation, to potentially increase the size of the training data. The hypothesis room will match with all transformed ground truth room, and the smallest matching cost is taken as the matching score between this hypothesis and this ground truth room. The hypothesis room will further match with all the ground truth rooms in the training data, and we compile those small matching costs as the structure feature. The bottom-up feature and top-down feature are concatenated together as the holistic feature. After ranking by a linear SVM, we can successfully find a good solution from a large number of sampled whole room hypotheses. Here's one result of our model. Because our output is a 3D room, we can render the texture and explore it in 3D. Now, we will show more results of our system. Data and code are available on our project webpage. We also published a Panoramic image processing toolbox, which provides many useful functions, such as line segment detection, color image segmentation, transformation to perspective views, to facilitate further research. Thank you.